guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back at it again here at Dream Giveaway Garage, and guess what? I have a one-of-one special muscle car I want to introduce you to. It's this car right here. This is a Dodge Charger Outlaw Hellcat Red Eye. But before we get into this steroid-injected supercharged muscle car, let's talk about what's going on here. The car behind me was built, it's one of one, was built by Petty's Garage. Who is that? That is King Richard Petty. He earned the title King Richard by winning not only 7 NASCAR championships, but also 200 victories. This car is following a lineage of other Petty's Garage builds, and it brings extra performance, extra style, and of course that iconic Petty blue color to the table. But what I want to find out is this the must-have Charger? Especially when you look at today, the Charger is still only available as an EV, the Charger Daytona EV. Let's see what Petty's Garage did with this particular one to really up the ante. Let's go ahead, let's dive into this new Charger Outlaw and find out. Right off the bat, I love the color combination. Granite is the name of this color. Nice metallic gray, and you really don't see it as often as you would think on these Chargers. Now at the front of the business, you're gonna see a lot of that amazing wide body look. LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps, and of course we got that wide body. It gives us an extra 3 inches of muscle car at the front. Trust me, if you could get 3 inches as easy as this car did, you'd be living the dream. But having that nice wide body not only gives us a more aggressive look, but there's also performance advantages to it. On the lower portion, you have your flat black, fully functional corner vents, and then you'll notice our Anderson Composites full carbon fiber splitter. And I love the way that it curves up and kind of follows the line of the fender flare to give it that extra kind of canard arrow work to keep this thing planted, because at the end of the day, this car will go well over 200 miles an hour. Now, as we come across the front, you have that name outlawed, because this is what Petty's Garage calls the Outlaw. That is Petty blue. That color is connected with Richard Petty because most of his driving was behind the wheel of a Mopar product that was that light baby blue color. So nice the way they put the name right across the front there. Fully functional up top. They blacked out the SRT badge with the Hellcat logo there. You have your functional mail slot, and then down below you have your fully functional lower grille with that massive splitter. That's a lot of carbon fiber. Looks good, and like I said, it is totally functional. I could see this on the high banks at Talladega or Daytona, approaching that 200 mile per hour barrier. Remember, at 200 miles per hour, you're traveling the length of a football field every second, and that's why aerodynamics are very, very important. Now, this car started life as a Dodge Charger Hellcat Red Eye wide body, but then Petty's Garage with direct connection turned it into the Outlaw. Let's continue. As we rise up, I love the Petty blue racing stripes. I kind of am gonna zonk it though. Here's what I would have done. Instead of having the outlawed name across the front, run the stripes all the way down. That to me would have just really set it off. This does have a full Anderson Composites carbon fiber hood with that functional hood scoop in the center. Kind of mimics a Demon a little bit. It's just not as wide or as tall. And then as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire sub. So first of all, you're gonna notice that this actually sits a lot lower than your standard Charger. That's why it's got special
shock absorbers and lowering springs to bring down that height. With that being said, you'll notice that we have these two-piece fixed wheels with the satin black. You got your gunmetal gray all the way around, petty blue 6-piston calipers, two-piece rotors that are about 15.7 inches in diameter. And then what's a nice little extra touch is you actually have Richard Petty on the center cap. Now on this particular wheel, he's upside down, but hopefully we'll find a wheel for you where we could show you the king and his iconic cowboy hat, because he is the real deal outlaw, and that's why they wanted to name this car after him. But I love the way the car sits. Wrapped around these massive wheels, you're gonna find Continental Extreme Contact Sport tires. Gonna give you the grip, gonna give you the stick. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? 20-inch wheel. Tires are 305 on the width, 35 series sidewall. And like I said, with those lowering springs and everything, looks absolutely phenomenal. And we can't forget the petty blue on those Brembo 6-piston calipers. Now, as we kind of swing it around, I'm gonna have Steven show off the petty blue Hellcat with the red eye badge. And then from the side of the vehicle, even though these vehicles are large, it does look oh so good, especially lowered a little bit. You have gloss black on the mirror caps. This particular one does have a sunroof, so I know a lot of people love that. Me personally, I could do without it. I would rather have the continuation of the petty blue stripes. Everything else on the side skirt is going to be stock Hellcat wide body affair, and that's okay. Digging how they worked the Hellcat badge in petty blue on the rear, and then you have your direct connection badging as well, because it's a combination of Petty's Garage and direct connection. Working our way down, there he is. He's almost the right way up. Richard Petty, that's him with those sunglasses and that cowboy hat. We got the 4-piston Brembo calipers out back, and basically this sits on a square setup just like any other wide body. So you're looking at wheels that are 20 inches in diameter and 11 inches wide, all 4 corners. And that's how you get the 305 rubber to wrap around them. Of course, it's rear-wheel drive, duh. And then as we come around the back, they finish it really well. You got that Anderson Composites carbon fiber trunklet spoiler, the petty blue racing stripes. You'll notice how it comes into that petty Hellcat logo. Even the way they did the petty blue for your SRT badge. And then working our way down to ground level, look at our MagnaFlow catback exhaust with our full Anderson Composites carbon fiber splitter. And I even like the finishing touch with the Outlaw license plate frame. Because remember, this is a Charger Outlaw from Petty's Garage. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop that hood and talk about numbers of this beast.
All right, guys, we got the hood popped. Underneath the hood, you're gonna see some extra modifications that have been done by a company called American Carcraft. On the underside, you'll notice the aluminum trim, the carbon fiber, and there he is, Richard Petty. He even has his image trademarked. Maybe I should start doing that. Here's where you're gonna have your air that rushes in from that hood scoop. Where is it gonna land? Right on our performance cone filter into that massive air box. You'll notice all of the carbon fiber trim, the Richard Petty signature, all kind of etched into the aluminum, and even the way that they did the work on that 6.2 liter Hemi supercharged V8. Now, if you're a little bummed out that these signatures are not actually autographs, guess what? You do get the King's autograph underneath the hood as well. So when you're at Cars and Coffee, you're gonna be the cat's meow. What do we got though? Of course, we have that 6.2 liter supercharged V8, now pumping out 885 horsepower. 0 to 60, if you could hook up in about 2.9 seconds, it is bolted, of course, to the ZF 8-speed automatic, and top speed is 206 miles per hour. That's more than a length of a football field every second. But you think about where they started with the Red Eye. A Hellcat Red Eye has 797 horsepower. So Petty's Garage was able to squeeze almost another 100 horsepower out of this power plant. But why don't we go ahead? We talked about the stats. Let's get the tissues ready for a little bit of an eargasm with that MagnaFlow exhaust and this Charger Outlaw's supercharged V8. All right, guys, we are in it to win it inside this Dodge Charger Outlaw. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, this car is one bad muscle car mamma jamma. How much is it? Well, starting, since it is a Hellcat Red Eye wide body, you're looking at right around $92,000. And then, of course, the extra cost that Petty Garage went through to make it the Charger Outlaw. But the great news is you get to win this one. But let's see if it's the one worth having. To the door panels. You're gonna get the upgraded premium interior, all smooth touch, white contrast stitching, Harman Kardon sound system. You'll notice American Car Craft did the work with the carbon fiber and Richard Petty autograph. And then of course you have that large door pocket that will get you a Jersey Mike sub and a bottle of Sprite to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, SRT badge with a red eye. Would have been nice if they put a Petty's Garage badge here, so I am going to zonk that. But as you slide on in, yes, I know it's dated, but you still get the 8.6-inch infotainment system, Uconnect 4, with your performance pages, that bright red start-stop button. I love the machine-turned aluminum look to this trim. You do have your auxiliary set up here for all of your important readouts, RPM, the whole 9 yards, what map, the fuel pressure, supercharger pressure, all of that separate from the gauges and the instrumentation. You still got your full use of AC, heated seats, ventilated seats. This is going to control your torque flight 8-speed automatic. We have 2 cup holders, and of course we have the red key. Thank you very much, Petty's Garage. And then you got the soft material here. Look at the way they did the blue stitching, really nice. Lift it up. You have another 12 volt, and you got enough room in there. I would say you could put 5 pairs of autograph sunglasses from Richard Petty. He's known for the sunglasses. He goes into an area without his cowboy hat and his shades on. People don't even recognize him. And then there he is. The embroidery of King Richard Petty. All done by Catskin. This is all premium Napa leather with the piping, full electric assist for the passenger, full electric assist for the driver, and if you need vitamin D, you could get it from the sun's rays because we do have that sunroof with the manual shade. But why don't you get your butt over here? I want to show you behind the 220 mile per hour speedometer in this Charger Outlaw. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. There's the Dream Giveaway badging with the carbon fiber. You do have aluminum pedals in the pedal box there, aluminum brake pedal and throttle. Still the saddest looking dead pedal I've ever seen. If you see this light here, this is for the oil slick and the rocket launchers. No, this is for special ambient lighting. The ambient lighting is actually from a company called Lighting Trends, which is great because that's going to give you special lighting. There's all your seat controls. I love the way the Catskin seats not only bring nicer materials, but it also gives you more bolstering, which is important. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom, steering wheel, the leather looks great. I gotta zonk the plastic, that's gotta go. And it would have been nice to have a unique horn button rather than the regular SRT horn button. Metal paddles to go up and down the 8-speed. And then it is an electric tilting and telescoping wheel. And then there's those special red eye gauges, speedometer that goes up to 220 miles an hour. And of course you have your plethora of different information you could bring up in that center display, which is great. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat, because I want to take you on throttle in this Charger. All right guys, back seat time. And the nice thing is all your passengers are going to be sitting on these wonderful cat skin Napa leather seats. The stitching, the piping in Petty Blue is amazing. That leather's so soft. You got nice pockets back here. You could put your issues of NASCAR Monthly magazine back here, so you could really read up on all of your NASCAR fans, Jeff Bodine, you know, Richard Petty, all those guys. Benny Parsons. I wonder if some of you even know who I'm talking about, because those are NASCAR drivers from a long time ago. Now on the back of the command center, you got your AC vents, 2 stages of heated seats, a USB-A and a USB-A. Seats are comfy as heck. You even, oh, sad. No center armrest. So here's what I would do. Have somebody sit in the back with you that is weaker than you. You punch them right in the kidney. When they buckle over, you could use them as an armrest, or you could bring your pillow pet back here and use that as an armrest. But why don't we go ahead, I got a special treat in the trunk I want to show you in this Petty's Garage Charger. All right guys, time to get into the trunk. Normally I wouldn't show this to you right now. Normally we would be going on throttle, but Petty's Garage left no stone unturned. We lift open the trunk, check out the rear bracing that they did, tying in the strut top mounts and the actual frame of the vehicle. What is nice is it still allows you to fold down the 60-40 split rear seats to go get your groceries. But man, oh man, nice this, when I open up the trunk, honestly, that shocked the heck out of me. And it's nice that it's in Petty Blue. And then one more for the road. And this one, you can see the ambient lighting all lit up by American Car Craft. There he is, King Richard Petty. I don't have the sunglasses, I don't have the cowboy hat, but what I do have is a heavy right foot. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in this Charger Outlaw. All right, guys, we are inside this one-of-one, very special vehicle, being a Dodge Charger Outlaw from Petty's Garage. Right away, you just feel like a badass in this thing because of the Petty Blue racing stripes, that Anderson Composites carbon fiber hood, and that MagnaFlow exhaust that we have that gives you the eargasms. Having that direct connection touchscreen is really nice to have all of those extra sort of auxiliary functions and features. And just when you get in, you're like, man, this thing means the business. But why don't we come to a complete stop here, and we're gonna see how it goes on throttle from a dead stop. On throttle, here we go, here we go. Smoke them if you got them, yeah, well, we're still spinning. This is one of those vehicles you're gonna have to pedal. You're gonna have to pedal to get the power to the ground, because having all that horsepower hitting those rear wheels, even with the Connies on there, it takes some work to get the power to the ground. But what you're hearing is that glorious supercharger whine. And it's one of those kind of cars that I feel like it's not too over the top style wise. Like I've seen some graphics and things that, and wraps people put on their Chargers. This one, I'm actually liking the balance with the granite, with the carbon fiber, and with the Petty Blue accents, including those racing stripes. But with the lowering springs, suspension feels good. You have those nice shifts from your 8-speed, that Torque Flight 8-speed automatic transmission. And then just comfort. It's so comfortable in here. It's very, very comfortable. One of those vehicles that, hey, 4 doors means more friends. that you get to fit in. And it's like you could do everything with this car. Plus, you have the Petty Garage name behind it. You're not gonna roll in to Cars and Coffee or the drag strip. Yeah, you'll see other Charger Hellcats and Red Eyes and everything else, but this is one of one, which makes it extra special. Having the heated seats, the ventilated seats, the cat skin leather interior, but the best part, of course, is when you do this. On throttle, here we go! Wow. They definitely took this car to the next level, and it has earned the Outlaw name by far. Oh my God, but the sound of the V8, the fact that even right now you cannot get a new Charger with a V8 makes this car even more special, and the fact that Richard Petty's name and his actual face is all over it makes it even more special. But definitely a muscle car standout. And definitely people are they're gonna take notice. They're definitely gonna take notice. Let me make a quick U-turn here. It's actually very easy to drive. You would think that a car with well over 800 horsepower is going to be very difficult to drive. It actually isn't. But one more time for me, definitely one more time for you. On throttle, here we go! Handles even better than a regular Charger. Remember, we have the bracing out back. We got those Continental Extreme Contact Track Day Focus tires. And we also have the center of gravity is lower. But I'm hoping that this has been a very exhilarating on-throttle experience. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a muscle car minute. Oh man, what an experience. Like I said, I would love to take this car to Daytona and just run it on the NASCAR high banks and see what we could really do when it comes to that on-throttle acceleration. But we definitely got to thank everybody at Dream Giveaway Garage, Lori, Ryan, Chris, the whole crew, getting us access to their one-of-one built muscle car from Petty's Garage, the Charger Outlaw. Let me know what you think. Is this the must-own muscle car of the past 10 years? Let me know how you feel about that. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rice family. Gotta get up to Stephen Flood. He's out here with his muscles. And the nice thing is he doesn't currently take steroids. I don't know if that will happen down the road, but as of right now, I could vouch for him. Down the road, I can't. But thank you, Stephen, for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.